It's Saturday, June 1st, 2024. Thank you so much for tuning in today. I really appreciate it. Feel free to leave a comment down below. As always, please make sure to like, share, and subscribe. Keep sharing these videos, ladies and gentlemen, all over your social media. Let's keep waking people up and keep the comments going. You're really opening up people's minds and really making people think. I appreciate it. I know a lot of people in those comments that watch these videos really appreciate what you have to say. Now, I was reading a few things this morning. I'm going to share some articles with you. Again, comment on any of this that you want to comment on. Love to get your opinion. But the first one coming from CNBC. Savings app CEO says 85,000 accounts locked in Fintech meltdown. We never imagined a scenario like this. Now, I must reiterate, if you don't hold it, you don't own it. And I cannot believe how many people trust storing their money online and believing that, you know, an online bank is really all that safe. I mean, think about when you try to call somebody. You can't call anybody. You can't even open the app. You are locked out. People are panicking. It says here for 3 weeks, 85,000 Yoda customers with a combined $112 million in savings have been locked out of their accounts. If you don't hold it, you don't own it. So many people want to trust this technology, trust that their money is safe on a computer, and this is what happens. We're going to see more of this. The disruption by a dispute between Fintech, the Fintech middleman Synapse, and Tennessee-based Evolve Bank and Trust has upended lives. I believe Synapse has filed bankruptcy. CEO and co-founder Adam Moelis said, "We never imagined a scenario like this could play out and that no regulator would step in and help." Again, here we go. If you want to rely on the system, go right ahead. You want to rely on entrusting an online bank to protect your money, that your money's safe, go right ahead. This is what you're going to get. This stuff is so volatile. And in my opinion, very dangerous. We are heading in some very volatile, uncertain times. And if you want to trust your money on an online bank, go right ahead. Could you imagine? I don't even know if this place has a phone number. It probably just has an app. Now people cannot get a hold of anybody. You can't talk to a human being. You can't walk into a brick and mortar bank and talk to anybody. Your money right now is gone. Users now have to borrow money, it says, to buy food. They have to have a surgery. If they're getting married, they have to pay their rent. They're now wiped out. They may now have to go out and borrow just to survive because they cannot get to their money. They cannot get their money. Be very careful, ladies and gentlemen, when you're dealing with this kind of stuff. The technology is sexy. The technology is convenient. But what happens if something goes wrong, like it has for 85,000 customers with $112 million now that nobody knows where it's at? So let me know your thoughts on this. I mean, again, if you don't hold it, you don't own it. How safe are these online banks? How safe are the brick and mortar banks? I mean, you got to really be thinking about being your own central bank at this time. No doubt, I think that the more people take responsibility for their own money and stop trusting these banks and all of this technology, you're going to be a much more independent person, and I think your money is going to be much safer. Here's one from Yahoo Finance. Home buyers are starting to revolt over steep prices across the U.S. The American dream is on hold for millions of people. The U.S. housing market, long crippled by an inventory drought, is finally starting to see listings rise. More inventory is coming, ladies and gentlemen, but now in many places, the buyers are not showing up. Why is that? Well, buyers are losing jobs. Buyers don't have any money for a down payment. Buyers have uncertainty if they're going to have a job next week. Buyers have too much debt. Buyers now are reluctant to sign on the dotted line and take a 30-year mortgage because they don't know what the future holds. And buyers don't want to buy a house because of 7% mortgage rates. And I think a lot of buyers, if they're smart, don't really care about the 7%. They don't want to buy because most real estate is overpriced at this point. 7% is a normal mortgage rate, okay? What isn't normal is when a house goes up 150% in 3 years in Timbuktu. That's not normal. Me personally, I have no problem with 7%. but I have a problem with watching these homes going up 100, 200, 300% over the last 4 years. That's a big problem. It says here, higher for longer interest rates are choking off demand. More owners are cutting asking prices than any time since November of 2022. So if you're a buyer sitting on the sidelines, look, I don't have a crystal ball. I could be completely wrong. But I think if you're exercising patience right now, I think you're going to get a much better deal in the next 6 months than you would have gotten last year or right now. I think prices are coming down. Inventory is rising. All you have to do is look at all the new homes across America that are being built. Who is going to be able to buy all these homes? It says here, without rate cuts, a sad reality is setting in. No doubt about it. But look, if they cut rates, this could possibly push prices higher. And then we have an even more inflated real estate bubble. I think we need to see these bubbles pop. In my opinion, it's always been the Fed should be raising rates much higher and crush these bubbles now. And let's get back to reality of what these assets are really worth. What is a house really worth today in America? Is the average house in America worth $420,000? No, it's completely overvalued. We need the bubbles to burst. The pullback is causing listings to accumulate rather than getting matched with buyers. The spring selling season is definitely a disappointment, said Lawrence Yu, chief economist of the National Association of Realtors. Sales are plunging. You're now watching literally a real estate collapse take place right now. And somebody will write me and go, "Oh, look at the price of homes. They're going up." They can go up all they want. They're not selling. When things don't sell, that means you're watching a crash. You can ask $1 million for a dump right now. Is it going to sell? Probably not. It's just going to keep piling up days on market, and it's going to keep piling up more and more listings. So the days on market are adding up. Properties that are being listed, the inventory is piling up, and the pool of qualified buyers, people who can actually buy a house, is shrinking. So you're going to have way more houses than you're going to have people who can afford to buy these homes. Lawrence Yun said, "I thought sales would increase throughout the year. I guess he was wrong. Stop drinking the Kool-Aid. Mortgage rates are much too high for these overvalued homes. You have a massive real estate bubble taking place right now. Take a look at the condition of the consumer, the real condition. They're losing jobs. They're carrying way too much debt. They have no cash for a down payment. This is going to end in disaster, just like the last one did. This one could be worse." I love how these people say, well, it could happen, but it probably won't be as bad as 2008. But so far, they've been wrong about this year. The inventory is rising. Lawrence Yun thought that things would increase. He was wrong. Barbara Corcoran told us that rates are coming down. She's been wrong so far. How do you know that they're not going to go up? I believe they will. Here's another one today. An estimated 26% of Fort Worth's single-family homes are owned by companies. That's 64,372 of the 247,485 single homes in Fort Worth. So let me repeat that number. 64,372 of the 247,485 single family homes in Fort Worth were owned or are owned by corporations or companies. I think this should be banned immediately. This is another issue with real estate that has helped inflate the bubble, helped to cause a real estate bubble. When you have institutional money competing with the private sector, this is what you get. They were able to offer, $20, $40, $100,000 over asking price, inflating this bubble. And now it's priced out the average American, the first-time buyers. And look, as we all know, all bubbles burst at some point. It's just what is going to trigger it. I think in this one, as far as real estate, I think what's going to trigger it is the job market and debt. the debt market, and the job market. The private sector cannot compete with institutional money. This should be illegal. It should be banned. Let me know your thoughts on this. And of course, you know, I've been saying this for a long time. I don't think that foreign countries should be coming in and gobbling up farmland or commercial real estate or single family homes either. This is not good for the average American. But what are your thoughts on institutional money, Wall Street, corporations coming in and gobbling up all these homes and then turning them into rentals, forcing you to have to pay much, much more for the same house? And in most instances, people cannot compete and they cannot buy the house. They end up having to rent that house because they cannot buy that house. Another article today, it's falling hard now. And in this article, it said, so bad news keeps rolling in for the stock market. The Dow soared 575 points yesterday with an inflation beat that nudged down. This time, it was in the PCE report. PCE increased 0.3% last month. I think that was about what they expected. Last time we got an increase in CPI. So it's always, you know, one of these reports, one of these indexes, we're always getting bad news, but the market continues to fight it. It goes up. Yesterday, Chicago PMI cratered to 35.4%. This is an all-time low. This is a depressionary number that we got. And what did the Dow Jones do? It went up 575 points. On top of the political uncertainty in this country, on top of all the unemployment in this country, all the layoffs, we can look at software stocks that got absolutely massacred this week. And I wrote down a few of these. UiPatch down 34%. Salesforce down 19.7%, ServiceNow down 12%, Cloudflare down 9.6%, Rubrik down 8.4%, and the list goes on and on. Markets completely ignore all this stuff. Again, they don't care what's happening to you, what's happening to unemployment. They don't care that real estate sales are collapsing. They don't care what's happening really to the software stocks. The stock market, all it is hoping on is rate cuts. Unbelievable what is happening. Things are so out of control. This delusion now and this illusion that we're living in, this is what happens when you live outside of reality, believing in fantasies about inflation while ignoring months of rising inflation and clinging to things that were whispered by the Fed Chair Jerome Powell that the Fed never said in its policy statements or minutes. The Fed never said it was cutting rates. The Fed said higher for longer. These markets continue to ignore this. The markets continue to fight it. The market's literally now at all-time highs. Again, this is what happens when you live outside of reality. The markets are now in a bubble, another bubble. We've got commercial real estate bubble. We've got a single-family home bubble. We've got an inflation bubble, a bond bubble, you name it. We got massive bubbles, and we have a massive bubble on Wall Street, and it will burst also. All bubbles burst, and when they do, when all these bubbles burst, it's going to take one bubble, and when that bubble bursts, I believe it's going to just set off a daisy chain, and all the bubbles will start bursting when that day comes, and it is coming. I don't know if it's going to be tomorrow, next week, next month, next year. Nobody knows. Nobody knows. There's a lot of moving parts here. But when it does take place, reality will definitely be here. We will all be living in reality at that point. And I have some really bad news for people out there. The new reality is going to be very, very bad, because that wealth that you have in your home is going to be gone. The wealth that you have on your computer will be gone. The wealth that you have in the stock market will be gone literally overnight. So be warned, be prepared, be extremely diversified right now. And here's another one today from The Hedge. Why consumers are angry about the economy. There's a lot of reasons why. the consumer is angry. One is because people have to work multiple jobs, 2 jobs, 3 jobs. I've seen people on TikTok videos saying they're working 4 jobs just to get by. They're mad that the free money has run out. A lot of people are mad that they're just forced to go back to work. You notice when you go somewhere, you ask for some help, nobody wants to help you. You go to a restaurant, the service is worse than the food. People are almost angered that they had to go back to work. Rents rose another 0.4% in April. Home prices are still too high. We're at record highs for home prices. People are angry. Their dollar's not stretching. They have no money in the bank. Their savings are wiped out. They're getting tapped out on credit cards. They're angry that the rate on their credit card is 23%. Some people over 30%. People are getting really, really angry. They're going to the grocery store. They're paying more and they're getting less. So everything is literally, services costing more. So people are angry about a lot of stuff. Somebody in the comment of this article wrote, everything is good. If you don't need to eat, drive a car, wear clothes, or see a doctor, I say, or if you have to pay electricity or home insurance, all this stuff, everything is good. And of course, somebody is going to tell me today, life is good, everything's great. And God bless you. I hope your life is good. There are people doing well out there. I understand that. And if you're living, in a beach house and you're driving a Ferrari today, God bless you. You should be on your hands and knees thanking God tonight for what you have. And I hope that you're giving back to people who need some help right now too. We've got to be taking care of people who are less fortunate. If we can help a few people, help some animals, then, if we have the ability to do that, we should be doing that. We should be giving back a little bit, and because there's a lot of people, a lot of animals out there right now that need some help. But somebody's going to tell me everything's good. But just because your life is good doesn't mean that everybody else's life is good. 10% of this country is doing very well. But what about the other 90%? A lot of people just live in their own bubble and just think that since everything's good in their own bubble, that's all that matters. Stop thinking about yourself. Look outside of your bubbles. It's a good idea every once in a while. Step out of your bubble and take a look around what's going on. Are you helping anybody? Are you looking at what's really taking place in this country right now? We have record-breaking homeless now in America, record-breaking debt. People are struggling to pay the bills. We're going to see a lot of people really feeling the pain this summer. I'm going to close with this. If you watched my Costco video the other day on the gold bar, silver bars, if you didn't, please check it out. But the top seller for Costco, yet again, is gold and silver. $200 million in gold and silver each month. Overall, it says, I was reading today, digital sales for the quarter are up 20.7%. Overall sales up 20.7% over the same period last year before Costco's gold went viral. So once they went viral with gold and silver, their digital sales are up almost 21% because of the precious metals. And these people that write me that I'm talking about this stuff and now nobody can afford it. This is why I was talking about it 5, 6, 7 years ago, to buy this stuff when a lot more people could afford it. This is why I was talking about this many, many years ago, because I knew this time would be coming. And this is, if you think the metals are expensive now, you ain't seen nothing yet. Yes, there will be volatility. There will be pullbacks. But as long as we have inflation out of control, and it's going to get much more out of control, the metals are going to go on a crazy ride up. So if you think it's expensive now, wait till you see what's coming. But to the people out there that always say, well, now people don't have any money. I did not tell people to go out and buy $10 lattes. I didn't tell people to go out and buy a car. I didn't tell people to waste all their stimulus money on vacations and clothes and electronics. I didn't tell people to do that. I told people, buy real things. Get yourself some gold and silver while you can, while it's still affordable. And it is still affordable because it's going to go much higher. But when I read what's happening with Costco, there are people that are somehow finding the money to buy gold and silver. And if you can't afford, $31 for an ounce of silver right now, you're done. You're going to really be in trouble, because we are getting deeper into a depression right now, and I can't help you. The best thing I could advise is get very close to God. Be saying your prayers and asking for guidance and strength, because you're going to need it. Because if you cannot afford $30 now for an ounce of silver, you're in big trouble right now. very, very big trouble. And I want to repeat something too. You better have security first. You better have food, you better have water before you're even thinking about gold and silver. You better have these other assets first. But these people out here who want to be repetitive and say that, oh, I'm trying to tell people to buy gold and silver now that people are broke. Well, again, let me reiterate. I was saying this 7 years ago, and I've been saying it for 7 years, literally daily, that you should be buying this stuff. And now, finally, it's gained some traction. It's gone up quite a bit. But you can still afford an ounce of silver. I mean, again, if you cannot come up with $30 at this point, if you cannot sacrifice or cut something out of your life or work a couple extra hours, you're doomed. I'm really sorry to say that, but you've got bigger trouble than me talking about buying gold and silver. Too many people had way too much time and made some really careless, reckless decisions with their money, with their time. When people weren't paying rent, when people were in a moratorium for rent and a mortgage, and they were getting $1,000 a week in stimmies, unemployment benefits, $2,500 stimulus checks. Where was all the money going when you didn't even have to pay rent? Where was all the money going? We saw electronic sales explode, phone sales were exploding, car sales exploding, people paying way over list price on cars. Airbnbs were exploding. So you're the same exact ignorant person that wants to keep saying that, oh, people don't have any money right now, because you don't have any money right now, because you spent all your money on Airbnbs, cars, and a good time. Not everybody did that. Smart people took the money and bought tangible assets, and smart people today are still doing the same thing. They're going to SD Bullion, my link down below. They're going to Costco. They're going wherever they want to go to, and they're buying real, hard, tangible assets. And it may be too late for you because you wanted to party and believe that everything was going to be okay. 7 years ago, I said it wasn't. A majority of the people watching this video said it wasn't. A majority of the people watching this video were preparing many, many years ago. Many years before I even started preparing. So I'm sorry for your loss. I'm sorry, but you're going to be living in a nightmare because you didn't prepare. You didn't want to prepare. All you wanted to do is tell all of us you were right, we were wrong. Now people are beginning to realize. Now people are waking up in the middle of the night getting very, very worried about how this is going to play out because they're completely unprepared, like the ignorant people out there that just thought that this was normal, that the government would give you money forever, that you would never have to pay rent or a mortgage, that you'd never have to go back to work, that gas prices would never go to $5, that with all that free money would not come inflation. Now here's inflation, and now you're feeling the pinch and you have no way out. I'm sorry for your loss. I'm sorry for your ignorance, that you did not think this out, that you did not see how this was going to play out, that you fell for the FOMO, you fell for the trick. I'm sorry. Millions of people did. You're not alone. If anybody out there listening has the means, make sure you have security. Make sure you have food, water, tangible assets, and some cash put away. You're going to need it where we're going. This country is heading into a nightmare. I don't think you need me to tell you that. Have a wonderful day, ladies and gentlemen. Have a wonderful day. It's beautiful. The birds are chirping. It's nice. But wow, we're in very, very big trouble. And I'm going to continue to repeat this message. This is the most disruptive economy I've ever seen in my lifetime here. It is the weakest economy. It is the weakest consumer. All you have to do is look at the debt. A strong consumer doesn't carry this much debt. The country is bankrupt. The country has so much debt. It tells me the country's weak, the consumer is weak, we're in big trouble, and at some point we're going to wake up one day and things are going to look a lot different. I hope you're prepared for that day. Walk close to God. God bless all of you. Share this video, give it a like, be safe out there, and as always, I look forward to speaking with each and every one of you. God bless, stay safe.